everybody hear me out there?
Yes.
Just give me a thumbs up or, give me a thumbs down. Awesome. First and foremost, I would like to thank everybody out here that took a little bit of time out of their busy schedule to come and accompany us today in our grand opening of our beautiful building. Now, this building here is going to be a huge asset, not only to the Sheriff's Office, but a huge asset to you guys as well as the constituents of Mora County. Now, I'm glad to say that we have this beautiful building up here, and this building is going to be able to serve you guys in the capacity necessary. At that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our Madam Chair, Veronica Serna.
Thank you, Under Sheriff Padilla. Like him, I'd like to thank you all for taking time to be here to celebrate a milestone for Mora County. This is your tax dollars at work. After the presentations, we will have... Not only has she been there to support us through everything we've been through, but through this disaster, I want to thank her for providing the resources that Mora County needed to survive the worst disaster we've seen probably in over a century. We've had, she's deployed National Guard, State Police, Department of Homeland Security. Of course, FEMA came because of you. DFA has stepped up to the plate, New Mexico Department of Transportation. Who else? There's been so many of them. But because of her efforts, she has sent the resources to Mora County so that we could get to the place where we are at now. And with that, so you all know who I'm talking about. I'd like to turn this over to our Honorable Governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham.
We've got a very sensitive mic here, but I'm going to correct the chairwoman. The work that's been done in large part in this beautiful community has frankly been done by the men and women who are right here today. It has. The system, even when the federal government is at fault to do the rebuilding, literally doesn't exist. There's no such program at the federal level. And it's a very harsh thing to have to say or to provide information about, but it's true. FEMA comes in during the disaster and they set up evacuation sites and they provide food and shelter and they do very small financial restitution. That is how the federal system works, and if you don't go through that small system of restitution, the path to get real rebuilding, that door gets shut. And it's the weirdest, most difficult thing I've ever had to manage, because basically we have a federal government whose fault this is, who says, we want you to go through every single hardship until we get it fixed. What I do want to say, so even though those words were so kind, and it is our job to get as many people on the ground, and it is true, firefighters, National Guard, State Police, Department of Transportation, emergency managers, food managers, workforce solutions folks, Help New Mexico, all of that. But none of it works in a cohesive way to rebuild. And while that's not why I'm here today, in this moment, that's why I was here this morning, I still want everyone here to hear three things about the North. One, all the right things are in movement to provide the kind of resources that you deserve. And they're billions of dollars. And we're going to get them out of the federal government. I don't know that I get them out of the federal government tomorrow, but they're coming. So I committed, and so does every leader here and in the audience and in line, has committed that we will never stop fighting till every house, barn, shed, livelihood is restored. And it will get restored. Every single one. From here to there, we'll be pushing giant boulders uphill. And I don't want to candy coat it because I don't want people to ever think that we won't tell you the truth. So now my job is to cut that boulder down and make it little teeny tiny pebbles. And we're doing that. I heard from a lot of you today that I need more from the Department of Transportation. I need to get the acequias clean. We need to figure out where we put debris. We need more New Mexicans hired. We can do all of that, and we can make it easier and faster, and I'll keep coming so that every issue gets a chance to get addressed. And we're gonna do it. And I appreciate your strength. Earlier today, you know, I'm also a little sensitive about the wind. When it was windy, we had fire. I need the weather in New Mexico just to give us a break. Just 1 minute. I know, 1 minute, although it does bring renewable energy and we're going to get cheaper energy. But look, I was talking to national reporters today about the North, about these strong New Mexico families. And I know that you hear me talk about it, but it was so real today. My great-grandfather was a school teacher right here in Mora, Michelle Lujan. He was a sheep herder and a sheep rancher. He raised 5 sons. They worked the land. They made their living working the land. They were required to do public service. Every single one of them, including my grandfather, did some kind of direct, either elected, appointed, or just hired to do work in their communities. And my grandfather was a Supreme Court justice. If you just look at the number of people right here who work on their commitment to a better community, it's still true today. I do want to highlight that you've got another statewide leader, the State Land Commissioner, and on paper, I might say, and I just did, gosh, how can you be helpful in this situation? And between the Chicharrone line and here, she's thinking of any number of ways that she can move her office to help us rebuild and recover. It's the power of who we are as New Mexicans. This building, the state didn't do it, you did it. And why is it important, and why did I want to be here with Under Sheriff Padilla? His dedication to public service, frankly, all of law enforcement here and everyone in the military. They showed up when it was the most dangerous during the heart and heat of those fires. They were on 24/7. I hear clapping, and it's well deserved. We are the only major fire that I'm aware of in the United States where we didn't lose someone. I want you to think about that. We're small. We don't have thousands of law enforcement officers and sheriffs. We don't have them. And yet we were doing incredible work to protect people. And I will also tell you, I was on the phone 24/7 talking to these sheriffs and their families. It was really tough. So what's the value now of this? When we co-locate, when we have office space, we have spaces for cars and equipment and training, we're changing the way in which it feels in rural areas to make sure that we have enough police presence where we need it. Now the state, come on microphone, you were doing so good, put aside $50 million. We're gonna hire about 300, we said 17 so far, we got a little money left. Maybe we can get it as high as 340 men and women to do public safety in a state that needs it right now. And the way this money works is that you can pay for new officers and use some of the money in your current budget to provide respectful salary support to the men and women who did it without enough people on those departments. So you don't pick, that's what we do. First of all, I steal those very people from the commission. I just take them, I take them for the state police. And then you steal them right back. And we do these little poquito raises back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, never hiring anyone new. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Everyone has to do their part. They have to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We need operations control centers. We need public safety departments. We need to treat these counties with the same respect that the bigger counties get from every single policymaker. That's what happened here today. All right, so this gets built. I'm committed. We put $318 million into equipment into training. And if you haven't met Jeremy Romero, right over here, raise your hand, Jeremy. Police officer, incredible public servant. He figured out a way to make the training free and all the out-of-pocket costs for officers, they're now gone. We respect the men and women who want to protect us. Think about cars, think about other equipment, think about training, think about what this undersheriff and the sheriff need in order to make sure that you're growing the department that you deserve and that your constituents expect from you. That's why I'm here. You made this happen. I'll come up in the back and make sure all the other resources that this community deserves, that you get them, and that you get them immediately. We'll start now, we'll get the rest in the legislative session. Last, just congratulations. This kind of leadership in the face of these disasters could have been forgotten. Getting money spent, getting contractors hired, finishing up your commitments, because there really is no time to do that. That didn't happen here. It all got done. People have stayed focused. We're going to stay focused. I'm grateful that I was invited to just say thank you to the men and women and the communities here who keep building a safer place for all of us to live. Thank you all so very much.
Tell me your name. Hey, Allie, it's really nice to meet you. Would you like to help me with the scissors? So what we're going to do, we're going to go like this. You put your hands down there. Can I put my hand near yours? Where are all the photographers? I could send you. I'm right here, right here. Okay, on the count of 3. Okay. Hello.